In the meantime, dropping those state and local deductions, that is a major amount of contention with those who come from districts that are in such states. We're getting rid of that. Well, that could be a costly deduction. New York Republican Congressman Dan Donovan is one of them. He's quite concerned, doesn't really like the idea. Congressman, I've talked to one of your colleagues at the other end of the state of New York, Chris Collins, is saying he's okay if the immediate deduction is doubled to $24,000 for families. It would offset whatever they would lose on this, and they probably wouldn't be itemizing anyway. What do you make of that and those who might feel that way?
Well, Neil, it's good to be with you again, and I think Jerry Willis was right in saying that we don't even have details yet. So people make an analysis on what is known as the framework. The president presented a framework. Paul Ryan and Chairman Brady presented a framework. And now we're going to put the meat on this framework. It's only been 2 days. Ronald Reagan took 18 months to get his tax reform plan done.
Does it bug you that you have to put the meat on the framework here, that so much has been left to Congress here? That might be perfectly fine, but it could take a lot of time, right? That you've been given broad parameters, but broad parameters take time.
Yeah, but Neil, I think that's part of what's great about the process. We had a retreat yesterday, 5 hours, where everyone got to speak about their concerns. Everybody was allowed to have input into what the plan. The chairman, the speaker, took copious notes. They were listening to what people wanted to see in the tax plan, wanted to see what that meat is going to be. So this is a process. It's been 30 years since the tax code has been reformed. It's arduous. It's too difficult for people. It's unfair. Now we're going to have a tax code that is going to double people's standard deduction. There are a lot of people, for their first $24,000, a married couple, aren't going to pay any federal taxes. So when that reporter, when Jerry was talking about that report that she was reading where somebody said, oh, most Americans don't want a tax cut, I don't know where that person has been talking to people in my district, that's for sure.
Yeah, let me ask you a little bit about that. On this, the one thing that has come out is this, the mortgage interest, that stays, charitable deductions stay. But the one thing that has been thrown out there is getting rid of this deduction for state and local taxes. Now, the impact on your state notwithstanding, even if it were to go through, I guess, Congressman, the read is it wouldn't be enough to compensate for the loss or the cost of the tax cuts over a decade. So where else are you going to get that money?
I mean, that's something that the economists, that the Ways and Means Committee are working on. But I've spoken to the president's economic advisor, Gary Cohn. I've spoken to Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. I've expressed to the leadership in the House Republican Party, Chairman Brady, Speaker Ryan, about our concerns. But there's no analysis to be done yet, Neil. We have to wait to see what some of these proposals are. I heard of a proposal yesterday that would keep the standard SALT, the state and local tax deduction, for people that make under a certain amount of money, and just eliminate it for people who are in the 1%. So there's a lot of proposals out there. We don't know what we're going to be voting on. But I'll tell you one thing. Speaker Ryan and Chairman Brady and the administration has been listening to members of Congress, and they've listened to me.
All right, and is it your hope that this gets done this year?
Oh, yeah, I would like to see relief for people immediately. Okay. We have a third of our public who said if they need to buy a new refrigerator for $400, they wouldn't be able to afford to do it without borrowing money. We have about half of our people that I represent live paycheck to paycheck. They need some relief, and they need it fast.